how to get the highest possible alcohol for your shine if you're a distiller at home. Now, a lot of you are probably familiar with sugar shines and using something like dextrose or cane sugar or even corn, whatever you're using to get some sort of alcohol into your shine. But how do you really maximize that, and how do you do it without off flavors? There are two things you need to know. First of all, the more sugar goes into your wash, the thing that you're going to distill to make your moonshine, the more alcohol you're going to get out of it, with some exceptions. There are yeasts that are really only good up to 14 to 16%, and they do their job very, very well, given enough time and enough nutrients in that 14 to 16% wash range. There are other yeasts that advertise themselves as very, very quick acting, 24, 48-hour yeasts that can go up to 18%, but don't do that well in that 24 to 48-hour range. So if you really want to maximize your productivity, if you want to maximize the amount of alcohol you can get off your wash, which means more alcohol in your shine, you want to use a yeast that can go up to 18, 20%, and you want to ferment that over a long period of time with some extra nutrients, and you want to ferment that at a lower temperature. Sometimes stirring up within the first couple days to make sure that yeast is active and circulating in the system. That said, you can start your entire wash with a 14% wash and add more sugar after your alcohol is already made to some extent. And what that does is make sure so there's not osmotic density that's acting against your yeast as it's going on. It thinks there's only going to be 12 to 14% in there, and then all of a sudden you hit it with some more sugar, but since it's already going, it's going to make it through those, and it's going to make it through those extra sugars pretty cleanly. So that's how you get the most out of your wash. Now, let's talk about turning your wash into a high proof shine. A lot of you are probably familiar with having either a pot still style distillation system or a refraction still column or refraction, whatever you want to call it, style still. If you have a column or refraction style still, on average, that will give you a better, that will give you a higher proof distillate off of your first runnings. So let's talk about the pot still style first. With doing a pot still style system, the best way to get your highest proof shine is going to be to do a stripping run first, strip everything through and still it hot and fast to make sure you clean off all the water and all the off flavors, all the gunk from your shine, and make a concentrated alcohol of about 100 proof. If you want to maximize that on your second runs, then what you're going to do is you're going to dilute that with just DI water, put that back into your still, and your second runnings, you're going to run really, really slow. So you're going to run that at a very low temperature, about 162, maybe even 160 degrees, and that's going to barely trickle out your alcohol with your counterflow water, and so your alcohol is going to come across as clean as possible. Now that still might only get you up to 150, 160 proof, and so a refraction still is going to get you your higher proof alcohol. What's the secret to using a column or refraction still and getting the highest proof alcohol out of that? Well, that has to do with how you pack your still. So in a column, what you have is you have some sort of counterflow cooling water towards the top, and then in your column, you have it packed with a bunch of stuff that makes it so that your alcohol has to make it through a bunch of layers of stuff before it gets cooled down and then drawn off as alcohol in whatever your out valve is. So the tighter you pack that, the more surface area there is in your stuff, the higher proof alcohol you're going to get. Now, the difference between something like what comes with a T500 turbo still and let's say a custom built or a home still that you're going to make is usually the fact that they recommend using saddles that have a super high surface area and are small enough that they can pack super tight together. A lot of the home built stills that you might see come with things like copper scrub brushes. Comes with things that are loosely packed and don't have a lot of surface area, also meaning they don't carry a lot of heat to them. So the more things you have to cool down your alcohol and the more surface area you have, the more you're shaking out all the water and all the stuff that's not pure alcohol before it gets to the out valve where your alcohol comes out. That's also a good way to create flavor if you only have a refraction still and you're only used to getting too high of alcohol, is to just pack it more loosely or pack it with things that are designed to be loose. But smaller things in your column packing, more surface area, so more holes, more divots, more things for your alcohol to flow through, that means higher proof distillation. Bigger things, like let's say you pack some of your still column with marbles, means lower proof distillation. Hopefully this helps you get your maximum alcohol yield from all of you who are making alcohol at home. you're making alcohol at home, leave a comment with your address below and tag the Kentucky State Patrol Agency in the description. Was that the way I was going to close it out that way, right? No, that's a bad idea. Don't do that.